Happy New Year, everybody. Red Cloud Gamer here. Joined, as always, by my co-host, the one, the only, the Green Sween. What's up, Sween? How you doing?
We got a new year, we got a new logo, we got a new microphone, and I'm pumped to talk some new games, man.
All right, I like that. We do have a new logo, a little new overlay I threw together. Me and you kind of worked on the design, and I put it all together on an iPad. Uh,
Did a fantastic job, man. But
Thank you, thank
seriously.
you. I really like it. I like how it came out with us, the cartoons and whatnot. I tried one, if you remember, I think like the first or second episode where I did like our avatars, but I just didn't like how it looked overall, so I wanted one that was more of us, and with all the crazy work I do and then getting COVID in December, I just didn't have time to do it until now. So now we have it, and this is pretty much going to be the setup for a while. And someone said we should get some new graphics in our comment section in the last video. So I was like, all right, let me throw this one together.
It's like we say, we're always looking into feedback, and we like when people leave comments, and we like to make changes to our podcast that people enjoy. So,
Yeah, definitely. I mean, anything good feedback, bad feedback. Like you want to tell me that it's bad, I'll fix it. You want to tell me it's great, I'll say thank you. You
right.
want to troll, I'll troll back. I love it.
And even my own feedback, I thought on my microphone, I sounded like I was a little far away on the last microphone, so I invested in a microphone, hoping we get a little bit of better sound quality.
Yeah, you do sound better right now. Let me get some footage playing in the background here. Anyone that is
Yeah.
watching this instead of just listening, there you go, a little Tetris for you. I guess we should use that to jump right into what we've been playing lately. Obviously, one of the games I've been playing, I'm going back to Tetris Connected. It's an older game from last year, PlayStation VR, and I'll tell you, I have it on VR. It's really impressive to have all these crazy things going on around you with the music and whatnot. Uh, but on Xbox, it came out recently. I think right along with the Series X and Series S, and it still looks, a lot better than most other Tetrises. Even though Tetris isn't a very graphically intense game, but the effects are cool, and it's got multiplayer. I think somewhere in this video, if we go that long, I do go online and play somebody. But I had a little trouble finding multiple games, so I think I only played one or two.
Nice.
But yeah, I've been playing a lot of Tetris. Love it. Anyone that wants to play Tetris, uh, yeah, shoot me a message. I'll add you on Xbox, and we will play.
I was gonna say I've seen a lot of memes of people saying I bought a Series X for $500 just to play Tetris.
Yeah, I saw some of that. Actually, one of the other podcasts that I really like, the Xbox Two podcast with Randall Thor and Jez Corden, they were talking about how they were playing it when the system first came out, and Rand was talking about how he's not really good at Tetris, but he found himself really hooked on this game just because of how it's presented, the visuals, the sound. I mean, the soundtrack gets stuck in your head after you turn the game off. You're just like, oh man, I can still hear it, and it's just really fun. Even if you're not good, it's fun. You don't have to, be the master of T spins and back to back Tetrises to enjoy Tetris. It's still a dope game.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So you've been playing a little bit of Tetris.
Yeah, I did play a little Crash Team Racing.
Oh,
Because some jerk I know that might be the co-host of my podcast suggested that I play some Crash Team Racing because he's playing Crash Team Racing with the trial. I think we're gonna get to that a little bit later on the
spoiler
Switch.
alert.
So yeah,
Spoiler alert.
I I played, and Crash Team Racing, just like Crash, is a game that's very simple, really easy to do the basic functions, and yet still chasing things like all the relics and gems and all that stuff, and even sometimes first place will drive you insane and make you almost throw a controller through the new TV that you just bought for your Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5. So I think I'm going to take a break from Crash Team Racing for a little bit. We might not have too much footage from the Xbox version of that until I get like a stress ball or some other form of anger management in my house. Because if I smash a TV, I'm probably going to have my girlfriend leave me. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a good time for me.
Yeah, speaking of Crash, that is one of my games. Have you been playing any other games aside from Tetris Crash? I know you said a little bit of COD, I
Oh yeah,
think,
well
earlier in the
COD is
week.
kind of always there. Like whenever COD comes out, I
Always.
play it for the first 5 or 6 months. Dope game. I know I talked about the crashes the last time. They still happen, but they are getting less and less frequent. So the minor updates they're doing are fixing whatever bugs they're claiming don't exist. So I don't care if they admit that they exist or not. As long as they're fixing them, I'm cool with it. I played yesterday. I think I got like 2.5, 3 hours in, and I didn't have a single crash, so that was nice.
Right.
I mean, it's COD. If you played one COD, you've played really all CODs. I do a little multiplayer. A friend of mine recently got me playing Domination. I'm not a Domination guy. I prefer Hardcore Kill Confirmed.
Oh,
Just
I know it.
because, in Domination, you get too many people that just want to camp the spots. Like, I played Domination on Nuketown, and, like, people know exactly where to shoot, like a noob tube, from spawn to, wreck 4 of my guys when we first spawn in the game. And I'm like, dude, this is going to be a long day.
Right.
Zombies is dope, but I think the big problem with Zombies for me is it only has one map. And I know that it normally doesn't start out with a lot of maps, but several of the games have had two, and this one only has one. I would have liked to have another one because I really feel like I did everything I possibly can do on this one. I have like all of the challenges done. I did the Easter egg, all of that stuff.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I guess we're getting a second map with season 2, but by the calendar they have up, I think that's still like another 60 days away. So,
Gotcha.
but yeah, that's
Gotcha.
it. Tetris, Crash, and COD. COD will probably be on my list of what I've been playing lately for, I'd say, until March.
Yeah, I know. Well, we'll get into it later, but I know February you were saying I think Xbox Series X gets the Division 2 a little bit of a graphical rework.
Yeah. A little 4K 60 frame per second update. I'm very much looking forward to that. That's one of the few games I got to con you into, playing Xbox with me again. So I think I'll use that to fulfill one of my plans for the year and get you playing back on Xbox again.
Yeah, no, definitely.
We never did any of the raids. Didn't we stop like right when the first raid came out?
No, we definitely no. There's no way we definitely. Oh no, you know what, dude? You're right. We didn't do raids. I remember we got the crossbow. We had like that level max armor. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when
We
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 did
like
that.
had completely finished the game until they released the first raid, and I don't think we went back to it after that.
Dude, the PvP in that game was so good too. I remember. I can't remember the name of the zone,
The
but
Dark
the
Zone.
yes, thank
Yeah,
you.
you were hooked.
I was hooked.
Uh,
So for games I've been playing lately, I told you last podcast, I thought Breath of the Wild was gonna get a lot of love for me. It's been getting a lot of love, and I'm still
yeah.
right there with Breath of the
Didn't
Wild.
you send me some Breath of the Wild footage, if I'm correct?
Oh, you'd be correct, sir. I
Oh, yeah.
indeed sent
There
you
we
some.
go.
So this is the master trial that you do for the
Yeah, that
DLC.
was part of the DLC, right? There were two of them. The one
Three,
came with the bike. Oh, were there three? All right.
three trials.
No, no,
So
no. Two
basically,
DLC packs. I meant, right?
oh yes, yes, two DLCs pack. Sorry. So basically, how these trials work is you start with no weapons, no anything. I cut down some footage, so I started a little bit later. You can see I'm on floor 5 right here. But you basically start with nothing, and you kill enemies. Like say you start kill with a bomb, blow up an enemy, take his weapon, and you build off of that. You know what I mean?
Like gun game and COD.
Pretty much. Well, kind of, but it's like more of a survival mode. But like you don't start with any of your weapons. It's not. You can have OP things. You have to really dedicate and strategize properly. And
All
as you can
right.
see, I'm a terrible shot there. But this has definitely been a big game I've been playing, and it's a big game I'm going to be playing for a lot of 2021, especially with the Zelda 35th anniversary, which we'll definitely talk more about later.
Oh yeah.
But man, this game is so much deeper than I understood at first. I could see this easily being maybe my most played game until Breath of the Wild 2 comes out. But also, yep, Crash Team Racing, like you said, I've been playing a bunch of that. Nintendo got the free online trial, which I very much enjoyed that Nintendo did that, and I'm glad they're keeping progress with that. We'll talk more about that later, though, when we talk about a couple things with our expectations on the year.
Right.
But I mean, those have been the two main games. A little bit of Smash. Dude, I rage quit at Smash pretty bad the other night. I could not win a tournament to save my life.
I couldn't win a CPU race and crash for a minute and definitely rage quit. I had a
Crash, I
race
was
that I
doing.
was in first place, and then I didn't even see a guy pass me. I lost at the finish line by 7/100ths of a second. I was not happy.
Yeah, but played a little bit of Pokemon Shield. We'll talk a little more about that too. But man, yeah. Pokemon Shield definitely had some issues. I remember you remember I tweeted about that. The online servers were just god awful.
Which is kind of something to be said about most Nintendo games.
Yeah, I mean some of them are at least manageable though. Like Smash I really don't have too many problems online with. They manage their big competitive games pretty well. But there's obviously way more features that could be added, which again we'll definitely dive more in depth into a little bit later. But really, those have been the two main games. Yo, so this is dope right here. You get little intermission floors,
All right.
and yep. So this is where what am I on floor 6, 7, or yeah, I can't tell, but uh, so you could see there's chest and there's gonna be armor in those chests, and there's gonna be those crates with have some arrows and some food, and there's like a cooking spot. So like I said, you could get yourself a little bit of materials, and it's all about how you manage your food and like you want to be smart with the amount of hearts you get, defense bonuses. It really makes you think like a lot more than the usual game where you have a bunch of things and resources, you know?
That's
You got
pretty
to be
cool. I'm keeping an eye on the footage, and I'm definitely thinking that I might have to dive back into Breath of the Wild finally.
like, see, perfect example. See how I pick out the double axe? You want to hit the crates with that because that won't break the weapon.
All
That's
right.
good for hitting crates. If you want to hit it with like a spear or something, you're just going to break your weapons and waste your time.
Makes sense. Okay. I like.
Yeah, it's really cool, man. I like how they did this, and it's very difficult. I'll tell you now, I have not beat the master trial yet. You're not gonna see me beat it on this. Big spoiler alert.
All right. Well, we'll
um,
have to get it on, footage whenever you do, and then let people know that you actually accomplished it.
yeah, no, absolutely, and I mean, I've taken a second win at this game, and I've really actually fallen in love with this game, dude. Just the amount of depth and differences in the shrines. Like, there's 200 shrines in this game, and every puzzle I'm doing is so uniquely different. You know what I mean?
I really got to look past my issues with the Switch and dive back into this because I did like it when the Switch first came out. It was the first game I got. I enjoyed what I played, but it's just like playing on the handheld. It's fine to me. It makes sense as a handheld, but when I play on my TV, the quality is just so much lower than everything I'm used to. It legitimately gives me a headache, and I
Yeah,
cave.
no,
I
I
didn't
understand
finish
that.
this, and like that's not like me. I love Zelda games. I beat almost every Zelda game, so I think I'm
And
gonna
it,
throw this into that New Year's resolution we talked about. This is gonna be one of the games I beat this year.
I, I think we just got a quick loop around. I think that was just a,
All right, way back to your beginning. Yeah, you said this was short, right?
yeah.
All right. We'll bring some Tetris back up until we got something else to talk about.
Yeah, no, for sure. But really, I hate to say it, I've really been biased to Breath of the Wild. I'm really excited for the Zelda 35th anniversary and to see what they can do with that.
Oh,
I know, you
definitely.
know what? This is a big chance for me. I just couldn't figure out the Zelda games as a kid. They were kind of made when I was a little bit younger, and for the Nintendo 64, that was just too complex of a game for me to figure out, to be honest with you. And I was not gonna lie, I was a little scared as a kid when I
Well,
was
yeah. I
playing
mean, what
Ocarina of
we're
Time, and
there's like a solid 8 years between us,
I
and
mean, I'm
I was fairly
25,
young
so.
when Ocarina of Time came out. So,
There were some friends my age that could do it and they pulled it off, but not me, man. I just couldn't figure it out as a kid. I didn't have it in me.
dude, I think
But
Ocarina of Time came out around the
but
time you did. I'd have to look up the date, but like you're probably talking 22, 23 years.
yeah, but Breath of the Wild is becoming really maybe my favorite game on Switch. I mean, it is phenomenal, and there's a lot for me to dive into. I really am gonna get a lot of gameplay out of
So
that
I
this
mean
year.
that kind of leads me to spoil a little bit of the later portion of the podcast we've discussed. But do you think it's safe to say that Breath of the Wild 2 is your most anticipated game of 2021?
I would have to say, yeah. I mean, if we're saying like I'm gonna guess it's releasing 2021, yeah. I
I
mean, I
think
would
it
have
is.
to
I,
assume.
I think that's a really solid assumption at this point.
I think it would be crazy to not see it released on the Zelda 35th after we saw it was in development at E3 2019 or 18. I can't remember offhand 100%.
I think 19.
19, okay.
Yeah. Uh,
That was
all right. So what? You want to move on to our New Year's resolutions? I just kind of spoiled that
I would
Zelda
love to.
beating Zelda's and
No,
beating mine.
That's okay. Yeah, I mean, we we wanted to talk about our gaming resolutions and our goals for 2021 in gaming.
Yeah,
And I
so
thought you
I've only
said,
really got a
yeah,
couple, honestly. This year, between the times that I was just busy with work or times that I just let myself get stuck on one game and refuse to stop playing it, I didn't beat that many games. I mean, I ran through Spider-Man and Miles Morales on PS5, but I had already beat Spider-Man once before, and Miles isn't exactly a full-featured game anyway. It's a dope game, but it's like a big DLC, so I don't know if I can really count it as a full game I beat. And then I don't know, like I beat Astro's Playroom. That's not really that big a deal. That's a short thing too. It's just
love
they're
that game.
yeah, it's awesome, but it's more of a tech demo than anything else. And it's just like I looked back and I'm like, man, I can only think of like The Last of Us 2. That's the only game that jumps at me that I beat this year that I know that I played start to finish and beat it completely. So my New Year's resolution simply is to beat more games this year. My goal is at least one a month. But as I go throughout the year, I'm gonna kind of one by one, like add certain games to it. Like I just said, Breath of the Wild is one of them. I gotta finally beat it. I gotta put aside my disdain for the low resolution Switch games and just sit down and beat it. It is a phenomenal game. When I played it, I was like, damn, I wish I enjoyed the Switch more because I really thought that game was awesome. So time for me to put up or shut up. I can't really call myself a legitimate, non fanboy gamer if I continue to refuse to play Switch titles.
I mean, I get it. Listen, your eye is training. There's a lot of games that you're playing, and it's hard to find time for so many games, especially like, personally, it's hard to get me onto Xbox. You try to get me to play some Xbox games, and I'm just constantly on my Switch. We all have our preferences in the way we game, and we get comfortable using the consoles we use.
Yeah. My issue with not beating games is less about that. It's more like sometimes I just
You
play
start
something
one.
because my friends are there. It's like duty. Like I'll get on and I'll be like, yo, you know what? I really want to play through Assassin's Creed. Oh, that's one of the ones I beat this year, Origins. But I'm like, yeah, I want to play some Assassin's
Nice.
Creed. And then Sean or Matt or one of my buddies from work or something will be like, yo, let's play some Duty. And I'm just like, okay, let's hop on Duty. And I'll think, yeah, I'm gonna play Duty for an hour, and then I'll hop on Assassin's Creed for an hour. But then I play Duty for 2.5 hours, and there's no Assassin's Creed time left. So maybe I just got to start appearing offline when I really want to play something that I don't want to play with other people.
No, I get that. Yeah, sometimes you do. And I was gonna say, honestly, as much as it's not a benefit in general, because I would like the option, that is where Nintendo has really made me focus on playing more individual games, is the fact that I don't have that access to online. So I mean, it's definitely influenced my gaming in a different way, but it's still unacceptable that that's not an option. I'm not sitting here trying to excuse it, but finding good in the bad, I guess
Yeah,
you could say.
little silver linings, right? I
Exactly.
agree. I agree. I There's times that I wish I could play. I game share with my son, so I
Yeah.
have to keep my system online at all times if I want to play my games. Now I could appear offline, but I normally forget to do that. But there's times I think like, man, I want to just unplug the internet altogether and play my game offline and be left alone. But if I do that, I can't play my games because his system's the only one that can access my games offline, which is great. Game sharing is phenomenal, but yeah, it does kind of mess you up when people can get a hold of you pretty much nonstop, and you don't want to be a jerk and be like, "Hey, I don't want to play with you. I want to play my own games solo right now."
No, I understand. Yeah.
But I got two other, you know, resolutions. One, I'm gonna get you to play more Xbox. I'm gonna get you to dive back, and then not like specifically Xbox. I do think Xbox is gonna be easiest, but just more games together, and more of those are on Xbox than they are on Switch.
Yeah.
So that definitely is like on my high priority list. Get the Green Sween back to the green team. You
That
know,
was
uh,
clever, dude. That was very clever. I will give you
I
that.
love that your bar for clever is very low. It makes me feel good about myself.
Yeah, well, I'm a Nintendo gamer. Cheesy humor
Yeah,
comes
nice.
hand in hand. Hey,
Um,
I'm willing to point out the truth.
I had a third one. Uh,
Yeah, I don't think I've heard this one.
I want to be better at balancing my time with all systems. I find that I traditionally exclusively play my Xbox 90% of the time. Then I give about 8% of my gaming time to the PlayStation and 2% or less to the Switch. So I want to balance it better. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'll be spending a third of my time on each system, but I do want to get Switch and PlayStation just put in the rotation a little bit more this year.
What do you think? Maybe get Xbox down to a 75% and get those other two to a combined 25?
I don't really have like a set goal, just more. I want to beat more games across more platforms. I used to balance them very well. You know, when I was younger and I didn't go, to work all the time, you would catch me, beating Halo on my Xbox at the beginning of the week, and then Resident Evil Zero on my GameCube at the end of the week, and then I'd be sinking some time into Final Fantasy X on my PlayStation. And nowadays, it's like I almost always just stick to one thing to play, and I don't know. I don't want to do that. I wanna spend more time on more systems, and really, it makes me feel more like a real gamer again. Like I feel like as I've gotten older, I've abandoned a lot of games because I stick to one system, and like I don't have to. They're all here. It's not like I'm someone that doesn't have the other systems. I go out of my way. I spent, believe me, a stupid amount of money to get a PS5. And I
I
very
remember.
much enjoyed it. I got the Spider-Man games. I haven't even started Dark Souls because I'm still terrified I'll break my controller. But I had a lot of fun with it when it first came out, and honestly, I'm back to where I haven't played it that like a lot lately. I will be. I've been meaning to jump back into Sackboy with the kids, so on my next set of days off, that's gonna be one of my days off. I'll be playing Sackboy with at least the youngest because he really likes it. I think the other ones
Yeah, would
might
love to
just be
see
like,
some
yeah, I
footage
want
of
to play
that.
with Dad, so I'll play whatever he says. But
Would love to see some footage of that. I was a big fan when they made the Sackboy game. It's a little bit of a different thing from Little Big Planet, but I respect it. I like the move. But I like your goals. We talked a little bit about them. I like that new one you set too that I didn't hear. But you're off to a good start with getting me back to Xbox. I might be spoiling a little bit of what we're going to talk about for expectations, but you tell me that the Division 2 is getting a nice update that's going to bring you back, and then you told me Sea of Thieves was getting an update, and that was a game I was a big fan of on
well,
Xbox.
Sea of Thieves has already gotten an update for performance on new systems, but it's getting some legitimate content update coming. So yeah,
Yeah,
they're not abandoning it. I know we were talking about it, and you said you'd really like to see a sequel. There's no need for a sequel. They are pushing that game with a lot more content this year because it actually, it's one of the I think the top 6 games sold on Steam this year. Like, they're doing really good with that. So
yeah, no, definitely for sure. Um, I'm still gonna bring up a sequel just because I'll explain it later. But yeah, dude, I really like your goals, and my goals are based off of a little diagram I sent you.
oh right, right. You sent me. Let's bring that up. I know I threw
Let's
it
bring
together
that
with
up.
some of your favorite characters.
Yeah, it's five of my
Disclaimer: we
favorite
obviously
Nintendo
don't
games.
own any of those characters. They are some of the most famous Nintendo characters, and one of them is actually owned by Xbox now. Uh,
That's
but
true.
they're the Green Sween's favorite characters from Nintendo. At least the first 3 he rattled off almost instantly. The other 2 he had to think about, but yeah. So walk me
Um,
through this 2020 year in review for the Green Sween.
yeah, so let's dive into it. You can see 2020 I played for 1,474 hours.
Which is a lot. Let's just say that.
Oh,
Yeah, it's kind of annoying. Xbox did one of these the last couple years. I didn't get one this year, where they send
I
me
know.
all my
I,
stats.
I remember you told me that. That's weird. Very weird. But in 2019, I ended up
That's
playing.
61 and a half days, by the way.
What's that? Oh
Your
yeah,
your
wow.
hours played, bro. You spent 2 months of the year playing video games,
That's amazing when you really think about it.
otherwise known
um,
as 4 hours a day.
that's great. Holy jeez, it's like a side job. No, but 2019, I was at 1,190, so I went
So
up
you
about
brought it
almost
up
300.
30%, a little over 30%. Okay,
And you got to think 550 of those hours go into Animal Crossing, which is just insane if you really think about it. But
it is insane.
so my 2021 goal for that, and I know it's an insane one to set. I want to try to hit 2,021 hours
You want to play 2,021 hours.
at least. That's right.
You got to do what? 2021, that'd probably be like five.
6 hours a day, maybe,
I
right?
was
No,
gonna
a
say
little bit less.
5.5 hours a day, maybe,
Yeah,
maybe 6. All right.
we're going for it.
Uh,
Hey, I set
uh,
the goal. I'm not guaranteeing we're gonna hit it, but I set it.
I'm gonna be real. When I was younger, that would be an easy number for me to hit, but I do not anticipate getting the 2,000 hours of gaming in a single year again. I probably sit around the 1,000 hour mark.
Yeah. Um.
Although now that I say that, I have like 7 days of playtime on Call of Duty in the last month, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I could
True.
pull it off.
So they did a cool thing. For Mario, you could see I played 8 Mario games starring Mario as the character. So I wanted to set an
So
interesting goal
starring
here.
Mario as the character, obviously Super Mario Odyssey.
I'm sure Mario 35.
All right.
I don't know if Mario 3D All Stars count as one as three.
I don't know.
That's kind of
That's
that's
interesting.
boggle, right? I think Mario Kart would be considered one.
Should be. All right.
Right, right. I can't tell you the 8 games offhand to be honest with you. But it's funny you put Daruk next to the Mario games because the goal I wanted to set for myself was with the Zelda 35 game. How many Zelda games am I going to play?
Well, it's a
And
little
we,
bit more challenging because we don't really know how many are going to be available on the Switch this year. You know, obviously, almost every Mario title you can think of is playable on the Switch in some regard. I mean, not literally everyone, but Super Mario 3D All Stars brought the big missing ones to it. The not virtual console, but Nintendo Online, you know, thing gives you some of the more classic ones.
right.
And we are
Well,
getting Super Mario 3D World in Bowser's Fury.
right, right.
Is that February? That's February, I think.
Well, I'm going to tell you though, I am going to keep my own personal progress track on the Zelda games as well. And if they don't come out, I'm actually going to invest in, re-getting a 64. Maybe if those games don't come out, whatever doesn't come out, I want to reinvest in. Like I was
I
talking
I
about.
would advise against that. Grab a 3DS. You can get the 64 games there, and they
You're
were
right. You're
kind of
right. You're
redone.
right.
Not full
You're
remakes,
right.
but it noticeably
But
better.
it's like I was telling you, man. Like I feel like I neglected the series big time growing up, and I really didn't get into it big until Breath of the Wild. To be honest with you, I didn't play any really before it. I played Ocarina of Time. I didn't beat it. I didn't play Majora's Mask. Too scary for me as a kid. No way. And then just if you didn't play Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask, you pretty much had to be introduced by somebody else to get into the series, and I wasn't. So
What do we got here? 67 games played, which is actually less than 2019. You came down
isn't
because
that
you got stuck in Animal
interesting?
Crossing for forever.
I got stuck on Animal Crossing forever. That's the exact answer of what happened there. Like I said, 550 hours. That's a third of my gameplay.
Yeah, a little
That
over.
is,
That's a lot.
yeah.
Uh,
But and this is what I wanted to talk about. Is I remember you remember me on the Xbox, and let's face the truth: is I probably didn't top 20 games a year, different games on Xbox.
you would blow through that number if you were playing on Xbox now.
Maybe
Yeah, dude,
honestly.
Game Pass makes it so easy to run through that number. Like 20 is a joke.
I get it, but what I'm saying but maybe I wouldn't. Maybe I'd get stuck on one game again. All I'm saying is my diversity in gaming, since I've gone back to on the Switch, has just like really increased. It's awesome. It's good
Right?
to
Yeah,
see
that's
that for
always
me.
good.
I was a pretty biased gamer when I played the Xbox One. I'm not gonna lie to you. I played a lot of Fortnite and a lot of parties. Yeah, I got stuck in a similar situation with you when you say your friends would hit you up and you didn't want to play a solo game and it would take you away. I would just do it every day though.
Yeah. I uh
And it,
I guess we'll come down to this most played game. It's right next to this little fat Snorlax, right? Tell
oh,
me he
you
doesn't
gotta
look like
love
a
little.
guitar pick with hands and feet.
My favorite Pokemon of all time.
Because he looks like a
I
guitar pick.
because he looks like a guitar pick. Yeah, my top 5 games.
Well, one's no question there. Obviously, Animal
And
Crossing is there.
Pokemon Shield.
Yeah, that
It's
doesn't
gonna.
surprise me.
Yeah, I mean, I dove a lot into it before Animal Crossing came out that January, February. I did a lot of shiny raids. Uh,
But
Super
Smash
Smash
Bros.
Bros. Ultimate. It's always gonna come out.
Yeah,
Here's an interesting
that's got
one.
a lot of playtime for you. Lasting. I mean, you played it like crazy when it first came out, and now I'm still seeing you jump on it for a good amount of hours What is it? It's been 2 years.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
Mutant
No.
League Football?
MFL. Yo, I want to give this game a shout out real quick because Mutant League Football, bro, it's a fun little arcade football game when you don't have Madden. And I know, you don't find
When
too
you
many
don't
retro
have Madden. When you
well.
don't have Madden.
But no, but seriously, just the humor in this game and how raunchy it can be. It is a funny game, man. It's
Dude, so playing
the
over on the Switch, you're saying that you don't have Madden?
right, no kidding. No, but it's the same announcer from NBA Jam on Fire Edition.
Oh man, I used to love that game. He's on fire.
Yo, they are so uncensored in this game. But like so they like make fun of how they would get sued for copyright and everything like that. And so like you could play as the Philadelphia Evils. And you got Scaresome Wentz,
Stop it.
Vile Sanders. I swear to God. It's so funny. It is just a humorous game. I can't remember all the names. Oh, Hell Wreckham Jr. It's like so they just renamed every
Oh, he
character.
will wreck him, June. That's right.
Yo,
That's
but they
right.
haven't.
Even though he left my team, that's still my guy.
Yo, and this game has been out, but let me tell you something. They've updated the rosters up to now.
All
Yeah,
right, I'm gonna have to
Football
grab
League
it. You convinced me. I'll grab it.
It's a fun game, bro. The announcers and like the penalties, you can literally like pay off the refs if you're in a bad situation.
That makes me think of that old
And-
Blitz game, Blitz the League.
Yeah, it's kind of like Blitz the League, bro. It's really fun. It's arcadey. It's hard to get used to the gameplay wise, but once you get it down, you get it down. And then the fifth game is Rogue Company.
Yeah, you tried to get me to play this. I installed it, and I've still never turned it on.
Yeah, whatever. I dropped off for me too. I'm shocked Breath of the Wild didn't take its spot at the end of the year. It had to
I'm
be
sure
really,
Rogue
really
Company
close.
is a good game. I see a lot of people I know play it, but I just have too many shooters to be jumping into another one. It's kind of, we talked about this before we ever did the podcast. Back when Titanfall 2 launched and EA launched it right in the middle of Battlefield and Call of Duty, we knew it was going to fail miserably because it's just too many shooters all at once. You're not going to do well like that. And most people aren't sinking legitimate time into multiple grindy shooters. I've already got Call of Duty. I play little Gears here and there. I'm not turning on another shooter on top of this.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you. And it's a solid game. It just kind of fell off for me. The shooters kind of over the years have just fallen off for me personally. It's not that they're bad games. They're obviously great games for competition, everything like that. I'm not that great at them. Even on Xbox, I'm not really that great at them. I'm okay. I can hold my own, but it's just not my gaming preference personally. But
so 2019, your most played games were NBA 2K19. I'm sorry.
Can you believe that?
Super Smash Bros.
Number
Ultimate.
one.
How was Smash Bros. Not number one?
I don't- it
Rocket
was very
League.
close.
Okay, yeah, Rocket League was pretty popular. A lot of my friends played that. Fortnite. Yeah,
Still
probably
play.
most of my friends had Fortnite as their number one for 2019 and 2020. And I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say 2021 for some of them too. And Pokemon
here's the
Shield.
thing.
That makes sense. You were hooked for a while.
Well, don't forget, this is the thing about 2019, though. Don't forget Pokemon Shield didn't come out till November.
Oof. And it still
And
made
don't
it
they-
into your top 5.
Think about that. And I'll make one more prediction that I didn't make, but here we go. I'm going to predict 4 of my top 5 games for 2021.
I
we're
mean,
gonna
that's
look
tough
back
when
on
we
the-
don't know exactly what's coming. I want to hear what you got now.
And we're going to look back on this, and if I'm right, I'm crazy. I'm going to say Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Okay.
I'm going to say Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2.
Depends on when it comes out. Okay.
Right, but I'm going to guess this year, so that's me making a prediction.
Yeah, but
I'm
still,
gonna
it
say
could be like a
Pokemon-
December game like Smash, and then it might not be able to top some of your others.
Maybe not. Maybe not. You never know, right? So I'm making a prediction. You never know. I'll play that 10 hours a day. No. Pokemon
He's taking
Snap.
December off. He's expecting COVID, the sequel.
Yeah, COVID the sequel. So I put Pokemon Snap up there. I think that's going to release sometime soon in the near future, to be honest.
I hope it comes out soon. I don't know if that's a game that could really get too much playtime out of me. I loved the Pokemon Snap on 64, but I just don't look at it and think that that's going to have a lot of content to drive me coming back. I'll probably run through it once or twice and then be done, but that's just me.
Yeah, so I had an interpretation on the trailer that I watched. It looks like at one point in the trailer, you have to rewatch it. And we'll have to go over the parts sometime. But it looks like you could separate off of two paths in your middle of your track. So I'm wondering, like, can you go different ways and see different Pokemon? Like, how deep are these maps now? And then remember, they have like that little wall posts for the pictures and everything. I'm just wondering, like, how far they're gonna go with it. You never know, you know.
Well, I mean, the original Pokemon Snap was like a House of the Dead style on rail shooter type, where like you didn't really have control over what you were doing. You were just looking around with your camera while you were in like a, uh, one of them little trolleys that takes you to a, through a theme park or whatnot. I don't know if you were playing back then or if it even interested you, but on PS3 there was a game called Africa. At the time, it had like the most photorealistic animal graphics we had ever seen.
Yes, I know what you're
And
talking about. I remember seeing that.
you you were just like this photographer, like safari photographer, going around Africa taking pictures of animals. But you had like free reign. You weren't like locked into a car driving around. You could just walk around and take pictures. And I always thought back then, like, man, this would be sick for Pokemon Snap if you dropped me on an island that I could just go around wherever the hell I wanted.
You never
That
know.
if they did that, if you have actual free movement, not just multiple paths, but free movement, that game's probably going to be in my top 5.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll have to see what they do, man. You know, for real.
Especially, I mean, Pokemon Snap didn't have all that many Pokemon in it back in the day. I feel like there's, a few more now than there were back on
I just
64.
want I just want you to know, full disclosure, I've had $5 down on Pokemon Snap since the day they announced it.
I think you might have told me that already. I'm not surprised. It just sounds like you.
Still sitting at GameStop. Um, and then my fourth game is going to be Monster Hunter Rise. I think it's going to be a success. I do.
I hope you're right. I think the Monster Hunter franchise is great. I do think it's a little daunting to some people, and because of that, whenever someone says they're interested in it but they're a little nervous about the grind, I always say go to Dauntless, because it really is like Monster Hunter Light. But Monster Hunter
Yeah,
World on Xbox One and PS4, for a lot of people, it's their most played game. Again, the guy from the Xbox Two podcast, Jez Corden, like he said, he's got like 1,000 or more hours into that game alone. There's a lot of people that sink, the kind of hours that you sink into Nintendo in a year, they sink into Monster Hunter. So, it's a great franchise. It's nice to see another main entry on the Switch, or on the Nintendo platform. And I hope that it runs and looks as good as they showed it. You know me, I told you when I first saw it, I thought it looked a little better than a Switch game could look. So I was under the assumption that that was like a Switch Pro version they showed. We'll see if I'm right. Hopefully I'm wrong, because I know a lot of people that are really excited for that version, and they're going to be pissed if they find out they can't play a game that looks and plays that good on the Switch they own.
well, I mean, it's interesting because I don't think they're going to make that like a Switch Pro release because we're seeing a demo for it this month.
Well, like,
Uh,
I never said that it was going to be like a Switch Pro exclusive. I
no,
don't
I
think
know,
Nintendo
but
would do
we
that.
talk
I just thought
not
that
like
what they
that.
showed was running on better hardware than the Switch.
No, and
You
I
know,
agree, and we thought that maybe wasn't going to run as well on the regular Switch if they did do it as a Switch Pro side release. But I don't think if that was the case, they would be so confident to show a demo this month. You know what I mean? That's just the impression I get firsthand.
you
I
could
can't wait
absolutely
for
be
that
right.
demo. I cannot wait to put some footage of that on the podcast. I
All
really
right.
can't.
Well, I mean, I like that. Definitely sounds cool. You do have to look, like, some demos and betas and whatnot have like specific, non-sharing disclaimers. So you got to
Regulation.
check.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
definitely
I'm
check
trying to. I
that.
think it was it might have been Destiny 1 or Titanfall 1. I did like a beta of, and it was very clear in the beta, like, you cannot put footage of this up. So,
Right.
if it's something like that, then we obviously can't do it. But as long as it's something we're allowed to show, I'll gladly put it up here. Then maybe you'll convince me to hop on Switch for a little bit with you.
Yeah,
Or maybe
absolutely. And
vice versa. Maybe you'll play Monster Hunter Rise and you'll be like, yo, this is good, but I wish it was better. And I'll be like, hey, there's a Monster Hunter over here on Xbox. Why don't you come to the green side and check it out?
No, we're gonna get hit with copyright.
Yeah,
Stop it.
don't do that. Don't do that. Dun, 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 dun,
We're done.
dun.
So, Yo, let's talk about some of these anniversaries we got this year, man.
Oh, yo, you know what? You sent me a thing that actually had me really going earlier. So I'll bring that up. All right, so there's a lot, and I really wanted to talk about this because I think 2021 is going to be a big year for Zelda. 2020 was a pretty big year for Mario. I think it would have been bigger, but COVID probably affected some development of stuff. Nintendo likes to celebrate anniversaries. They did like the year of Luigi the one year, the year of Pikachu, whatever. And I look
Yeah.
at this that you sent me. Now, all right, I'm gonna put one out there right away. Skyrim is on here. It's at 10 years. Skyrim is going to release in some form on another platform this year, and every single year after that. It's just what they do.
I think you were telling me the vacuum cleaner was getting
Yeah,
Skyrim
yeah. I
this
think I
year.
think it's gonna be on the new Dyson vacuums. If there's not a Skyrim on my cell phone by the end of the year, I'll be blown away. I think someone showed that they had it running on like some like high end calculator. It's not like they released it, but they like proved it could be done. That it's it's been out for 10 years and it's probably released on more platforms than Zelda has. That's not
Right.
normal. Okay, and
No.
not that it's a bad game, but man, do they release that on everything. It's gonna be on Tesla cars this year. That's what it'll be. I bet you the Tesla gets it.
Right.
So Pokemon has its 25 year, right?
Right.
Which we actually had a little argument over because I could have sworn Pokemon was 98, and then you pointed out to me that it came out here in 98, but it was out elsewhere for 2 years because localization used to take a whole lot longer than it does now. Like today, oftentimes we in America get games before the rest of the world, but even when someone else does get it, at most we're waiting a couple months for a big release, not 2.5 years.
No, absolutely, and that was the thing. That was a big thing with Animal Crossing too. Was like a lot of people didn't get to see Animal Crossing for the 64 because that was really hard to get. Overseas, down to the Americas, and
Hang on a minute. What?
there was an Animal Crossing game for the 64.
No, I feel like that.
Um,
I feel like that was where it started, and then it ended up coming out on the GameCube instead. It was like, uh,
but
am
but
I
it was
crazy?
it was released on 64 in Japan, but it just never the 64 version never made it to the Americas, and then the GameCube version did.
Right, right. It was what was it called? Animal Family Forest. It's
It's
something
something,
different. I'm about
and
to
then
look
it
it
had
up.
like and with a
Animal
foreign name
Forest.
too, yeah.
You're right.
And then so
It was enhanced
yeah,
and re-released on the GameCube in Japan later that year, and then localized worldwide as Animal Crossing and birthed the franchise that Green Swain spent 550 hours with in 2020. Perfect game for a pandemic year, by the way. Perfect.
but I wouldn't be surprised to see some Pokemon news in the really near future. As
Yeah,
I don't know if
we
you know
saw
this,
this.
February.
We saw this leak, right? This. I mean, I don't want to say leak because I don't know who the person is and if they're legitimate, but the stuff they showed kind of seems like, even if it's not a leak, they're really solid guesses. Where someone kind of
Yeah,
asked like what Nintendo has in stock for 2021, and I think he just tweeted out like a picture of Breath of the Wild 2, a picture of Samus Aran. So hopefully we're gonna see some Metroid Prime 4 or at least a Metroid Prime trilogy re-release on the Switch. That'd be dope. But Pokemon
seriously.
Diamond and Pearl was represented in there, right? What was it? Dialga? Dialga?
Yeah, Palkia
Yeah.
Dialga. Yep.
And we've been expecting a Diamond and Pearl remake for a few years now, so that's what they're up to, right? Yeah. They did Gen 1, 2, and 3, so. And I think a lot of people think Gen
Well,
4 was like the pinnacle of the series, so.
it's interesting that you got Pokemon 25th, then you got Pokemon Diamond and Pearl as the 15th, which we're all anticipating a Diamond and Pearl remaster. But then you got Pokemon Go's 5 years too this year,
Which feels crazy to
which
me.
is
I feel
crazy.
like that only came
Yeah,
out like 2 years ago, tops.
no, seriously,
You
it's
know,
been out for a while.
funny little story about Pokemon Go. That game came out, and me and my buddy Matt, me and Matt were really excited. We're big Pokemon fans, so we were like, "Oh, this is dope. We're gonna play this. We're gonna catch all these Pokemon. Everyone, let's quit our jobs and go on a Pokemon adventure." Kidding, obviously, but I think
Of
everyone
course.
that was a Pokemon fan kind of had that same mentality. And when
Oh
it
yeah,
first came out, my son, my oldest, he's a diehard Pokemon guy. Remember, I told you he beat Sword and Shield both completely in like 3.5 days and did
yeah.
the completed Pokedex. And he wanted to play, but he didn't have a phone. So we had like an old phone lying around the house that didn't have any service, so he could play like literally here at the house. He had to just like walk around the house, and that's obviously not an ideal way to play Pokemon Go. So I was like, you know what, screw it. I'm gonna go out for a Pokemon walk. I think it was like the second day the game was out, and I said I'll go stop by the local, Boost Mobile store, and I'll buy my son a new phone. A cheap little phone that'll play it, so he can go with me. So I head down there. I get him a phone. I'm coming back. I've got my buddy Matt and my son in the car in the van, my old white van. I don't know if you remember that, but
Yeah, I
I'm
do.
driving up the street. I'm like 2.5 blocks from my house. I literally went to the store to get the phone. I'm coming back home, and we're gonna park, set his phone up, and then we're gonna take like a 2 mile walk, get some Pokemon. As I'm coming
Right.
up the street, I point to a spot because I had already gone for a Pokemon walk with Matt the night before, so I kind of knew the spots in this city that were really worth going to. And there's a spot like 4 blocks from me that has two Pokemon stops. Literally, you don't have to move; you can access both of them. So I was like, our first stop is right there. We can hit both Pokemon stops. We'll catch some Pokemon. We'll get some items. Blah blah blah. But as I'm coming up the street, I go to point. And I'm like, yeah, that's gonna be our first spot. And I instantly see the car that's coming down that street. The guy's got a cell phone in his hand. He's not looking. And I'm like, he's gonna frickin' hit us. So I get both hands on the wheel. I brace for it. There's no stopping it now. It was too close. He does hit us right in my rear passenger tire, like literally a foot and a half from putting direct force onto my son. I ended up spinning out, ended up on the curb, smacked into another car that also bumped into another car. I wasn't really happy, man. I really wasn't. And I immediately turn around. I'm a bad friend, all right, but a better father. So I completely forgot Matt existed. He's in the passenger seat. I don't know he's there. I just know that we just got in a car accident and my son is in the back seat where he likely took force from the car. And I felt in my heart, man, we all say stuff like, yeah, man, I could kill someone if I had to. I felt this
Yeah.
weird feeling inside me, like I knew in that moment if my son was hurt, I was about to kill somebody. And I felt
I
oddly
feel
okay
you.
with it. I was like, man, that's not okay. I should probably see somebody. But I remember I turned around and I'm like, yo, Ralphie, are you okay? And he was just like sitting there, one hand on the door, one hand on the other seat, like bracing himself. We had already stopped, but he was still frightened. I'm like, man, are you okay? I said it a little louder. And he's like, I think so, I think so. So I'm checking him. There's no marks. I felt fine. We didn't really like, we didn't roll or flip. Nothing, no windows broke. Just my car got messed up. So I'm like, okay, he's probably all right. I get out the car and I'm like, I'm ready to beat this guy up. And he comes running across the street and he's like, oh my God, is everyone all right? So, luckily it ended up no big deal. But the funny thing is, his name was Charlie Brown. Like,
No.
yes, yes. I mean, it was Charles, but when the police gave me the report, it said that they ticketed the other driver because he had run through the stop sign, and like the other driver was Charles Brown, and I'm like, get the hell out of here. My car got wrecked by Charlie Brown. Wah, wah. That had me going for a minute. Yeah, there's my little wild tangent that I ran off on Pokemon Go. So, I am looking at this
Nice.
list right now. As for stuff that we could see coming back, I definitely think Diamond and Pearl are there. Um, I don't expect to see a new Smash Bros, but we obviously have more Smash Bros characters.
Oh well, buddy. Guess what? I mean, here's the thing: is Super Smash Brothers Melee.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of love going on there. Yeah, I do want to point out one. RuneScape 20th year.
Oh,
I
not
was.
RuneScape. Where's the
I'm.
mute button for the green swing?
Oh come on, man. I love the little RuneScape. I mean, I was a
No,
huge
I hear
fan
you.
growing
I
up.
hear you.
Listen, they made a game that was free, man, and it had a lot of content for being free, and they made you the option of being a member to get so much more content. And it was a huge grind as a kid growing up, and it was a fun way to socialize too, man. It was a great game, and it was very impactful for my generation, especially. Yours too, I'm sure. I mean, yours
Something's
is
not right
really
here.
what?
Is that Arkham City on that list?
Is it?
Yeah, it looks like it's Arkham City. That it doesn't have enough space to say Asylum. The resolution on it, because I squished it for the screen, kind of crushed it, so I
That's
can't read
right.
it. But that's the city. Arkham City's not 10 years old. Asylum is.
Well, somebody's, they got it a little wrong.
Yeah,
Dude,
cities 8.
so let's not call it a prediction because God forbid you'll rip my head off if I call it a prediction. But
Yeah, well, you always like to deliver your hopes and like their predictions, and you're like, "Yo, my prediction is," and I don't think this is gonna happen, but here you go. And I'm like, dude, if you don't think it's gonna happen, it's not a prediction at all.
I mean, I could see it happening. I just doubt it. But
Then it's
it's
not a
possible.
prediction. Anything is possible. It's possible that Microsoft buys Nintendo and Sony and fuses into one giant, gaming conglomerate this year. It's not
I
likely.
just
I'm
don't.
not going to predict that. It's still possible. If you're
I
predicting
just
something, you're saying that I believe this is going to happen this year.
Okay. So fine. I'll make a prediction on top of what. All right. So Nintendo 64, 25 years. Nintendo GameCube, 20 years. Wii, 15 years. All the
Okay.
anniversary of those three. I would like to see those three on the virtual console. However, I think two of those will make the virtual console. I do think the 64 will definitely make virtual console this year. And I think there's hope for the GameCube at the end of the year. But we'll talk more about why I feel that way during the Nintendo thing. And if you want
I
to comment
uh
anything right now,
I don't want to say that you're wrong. I would like to see that. I mean, first off, I do want to say it's not a virtual console. They abandoned that format and went into this online streaming service that's connected to Nintendo Online, which is fine. That's their prerogative, but it does suck that I spent a lot of money on virtual console games for the Wii and Wii U and pretty much lost them.
right?
My only thing is, especially with the 64, I think Nintendo's going to drop like a 64 mini or classic like they did the NES and the SNES, and that might push them to not give us 64 on the Nintendo Online at least this year. So I
And
hope
I
I'm
will,
wrong, but I don't think they'll want to compete with themselves.
I will say I am praying, and praying. It's a long shot. I am praying that Sonic either remakes Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 or give us a Sonic Adventure 3. Please just do it already.
Oh,
If anybody's listening, please send for help.
yeah. Well, I mean, what? We're definitely going to see Pokemon this year, no matter what. I don't think we have a new Dragon Quest this year. I'd like one, but we won't. Skyrim, we will see probably on 4 different platforms this year. Devil May Cry just had Devil May Cry 5 not long ago, so probably not another version anytime soon. Metroid, I don't think we'll see released this year unless it's like a recollection of the Metroid Prime trilogy. But we will see Metroid Prime 4, I'm certain. I'd like to see some Sonic representation.
Yo,
We know Halo Infinite's coming. There's
I was like,
probably Street Fighter 6 somewhere on the horizon.
yo, is Donkey Kong like a slept on? Like, do we get a new Donkey Kong? Like, nobody's talking
It's
about
weird.
that,
Like, I
right?
feel like they haven't done anything Donkey Kong related in forever. And I know that, I let you
Tropical
use the
Freeze.
Tropical Freeze, but like the Tropical Freeze was just a re-release of the Wii U game, and I've heard nothing else about any,
Anything.
any kind of, new game, new Donkey Kong 64 style game, new Donkey Kong Country style game. So I wonder if maybe Tropical Freeze didn't sell well enough for them to justify another title yet.
Well, bro, you
I'd have
got
to
to
look
think
that up.
40 years is the biggest. That's the biggest number on that list.
Yeah, but I mean, the anniversary matters to them, and we probably will get some sort of representation for Donkey Kong this year, whether it's DLC in one game or, classic games, a full
You
new
know
game,
that's my
whatever.
that's my favorite Mario series character. So
Yeah.
any kind of Donkey Kong representation. I mean, we've talked about it before. I don't think on the podcast, but Donkey Kong Country is like my first real
I
memory of
I
gaming. I
would
remember playing.
point out now that you said that Mario is actually a Donkey Kong series character, not the other way around.
True, but you know what I mean, like the Mario Party games, the Mario
I
Kart
just
games.
feel like yeah, the 40 years is big, but when Nintendo's doing their anniversaries, it's mostly this really successful franchises like Mario. Like I
Zelda.
believe
Well,
we're
it's
gonna
gonna
get
be
some Zelda
Zelda.
stuff this year.
Yeah.
But I hope we get some Donkey Kong representation. Crash, I'm gonna ignore because Team Racing made me want to smash my controller, and we got Crash 4 a couple months ago.
See,
Kid
that's what I
Icarus, I
like
was
about
never a fan of.
Pokemon's anniversary being this year is they really do their own separate things, so that really doesn't depend on Nintendo as much,
Overwatch has been 5 years already.
right? I thought the
Huh.
same thing. Maybe
All right.
Overwatch 2 this year. I could see that,
Yeah, I've seen
obviously.
some people talking about Overwatch too, so we will see some representation. I think the first game still has a pretty big player base too.
Kingdom Hearts
Batman, we're
should
gonna
be.
get Gotham Knights. Golden Sun, I'm not a fan of. Kingdom Hearts, I hope we get some Switch representation this year. Resident Evil, we know there's a new one.
Kid
3DS and
Icarus.
GameCube, who knows?
Kid Icarus game on Switch, maybe? Like a little remaster or something? I don't know. Kid
Maybe.
Icarus is a big deal in Nintendo's eyes, honestly. I mean, it
Uh,
was a big franchise, you know?
Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider. We had Shadow of the Tomb Raider, what, 2 years ago? It might be
That
time for
sounds
another
about.
one.
It might be time. Crash
Uh,
25th. Crash
no
25th?
Crash, no nothing. They already did the Crash trilogy. They did Crash 4. No, I
Listen,
just said no Crash, no nothing.
okay.
RuneScape, I don't care about. Persona is wildly successful already. Pokemon Go, I fell off of. But yeah, that's a lot of anniversaries for the year.
A lot of anniversaries. Happy to see some representations, hopefully.
Oh yeah, see Tetris. I've got some versus footage going on here.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, and they've got like several different modes. This one is like zone battle, where you're allowed to use the zone mechanic. In this
You're like a
version of
gladiator.
Tetris, the zone, yeah, you unlock new avatars that you can equip.
That's cool.
Uh,
That's cool.
the zone battle, it's like this. You have the zone meter filling up based on like getting like doubles, triples, Tetrises, and back to backs and T spins and stuff like that. And whenever you hit it, it goes into this mode where like every line you do doesn't count up until the meter runs out, but it automatically drops it to the bottom, so you can start doing more and more lines. And the bigger you do, you smash your enemy with all of those lines. So, and you watch your little avatars. It looks like they're doing little fights. You know, they're not actually hitting each other or nothing. That'd be pretty cool. But yeah, there's the multiplayer. I told you I'd show you some of it. Oh man, what else do you got for me today?
I mean, I think it's time to talk about what we're expecting from 2021
Oh, like
for
our
each
outlook?
console.
Okay.
Yeah. If you want to
Uh,
play you got that Pokemon footage I sent you?
I do believe I do. As a matter of fact.
I think I know what it on says. Look at the sound. Talk to me. Look at
Where did I put it?
You hit it on me.
Come on. Just Pokemon. Bang. Bang. Oh,
It is. We got
there
you
you
guys.
go. Your
Don't
green swing.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to my girlfriend's nephew here, Jordan. I told him I wanted to get him on one of the podcasts. He tells me he's a Pokemon master and he beat Leon, so he thought he had what it took to beat me. And you're gonna find out.
So
I've been
you
playing this-
you beat up a little kid in Pokemon?
I sure did, sir.
So proud of you.
That's what I do. I got to be a bully. I'm a little nice at first, but
I'm not. I'm not. When kids want to play me in games, they need to learn quick.
Well, don't
Alright.
worry. I mean, I still obliterate him at the end
I-
of the day.
It's for their own good. If I let them think they're absurdly good at a young age, then they won't strive to do better.
No, I agree. Well, don't worry. He definitely doesn't win, and it's not really that competitive. But so, Nintendo Outlook. First of all, I do want to throw it out there that Pokemon is definitely my favorite Nintendo game series of all time. I mean, from a kid, I remember playing Pokemon Blue, and that was my first love as a game. You know what I mean? Like compared to like regular gaming and like pulling all nighters as a kid. Pokemon Blue, Pokemon Silver, Pokemon Ruby, Pokemon Snap, Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2. Like all these games were just iconic and revolutionary for me as a kid growing up. This was definitely my game series. So as much as I am hyped for the Zelda 35th, I mean extremely, I'm also very, very hyped up for Pokemon's 25th. And what I was going to bring up earlier is Pokemon Day is February 27th.
Right?
So
There'll be a big event in Pokemon Go, like always.
Right. I think we're going to have arguably the biggest Pokemon Direct we've ever seen on February 27th. I think they're holding out on Pokemon Snap. I think they're going to hold out on that Pokemon MOBA. And then I think we're going to see the Diamond and Pearl remake. I think we're going to see a lot of things on Pokemon Day. And then you got your Pokemon Go stuff. Nothing big for like Diamond and Pearl remakes. They're not going to show a lot. They're just going to show like maybe a cinematic trailer. But it's in the progress of works. You know what I mean?
I'm actually expecting a big show for Diamond and Pearl remakes. I think they come out in the not too distant future. They've been in development for a long time. They're coming, and they're coming soon.
I'll tell you, February 27th is your big day. It was interesting. We talked a lot about the Switch Pro and how we thought maybe it was going to come out this year. I'm starting to maybe second guess that opinion. I would love to see it come out this year. But if I'm being honest, with how well the Switch is coming off of sales.
Yeah, I saw it's up to 75 million.
Yeah. Do you release a Pro console when you're at still the peak of your sales?
I mean, Sony did it with the PS4.
So maybe they do it. I thought
You
Monster
don't
Hunter
release
Rise.
a Pro console because your sales are plummeting. That's not what you do. That's when a next gen console comes. You release a Pro console to spike sales and keep relevant with technology.
Oh, I agree. I'm just what I'm saying is I'm not even saying that their sales are hurting. I'm just saying they're red
doing
hot
really well.
still. Yeah, they're red hot, and
But still, you don't wait for it to slow down to go for a Pro. You go for a Pro when you feel that technologically you're forced to. A Pro model or a Switch 2. I do believe that technologically they're in that spot. They're already missing. We talked about this in several podcasts already. They're already missing a good amount of games that are on Xbox One and PS4 because the Switch just cannot possibly run them. As companies switch focus to the, Xbox Series S and X and PS4 or PS5, they're not going to be able to run anything built for one of those systems on the Switch Pro or on the Switch. You're going to need a Switch Pro to run any of these games. Period. Which means you're going to see more and more third party just fold. As far as the Switch is concerned.
You can see I did a little switch there without even doing an attack just because I felt so bad. Like if I used that electric type, I was going to smoke him. And I wanted to show off my Snorlax a little bit. He's shiny. Took me a little while to get this guy. You can see I use a not very effective move.
I don't know how Snorlax can be shiny when he sleeps in the middle of the road. But
that's my little buddy.
I'll never forget him blocking the road on me. I'll never forget
as of now, I would really love to see Pokemon Snap soon. I want to try out that Pokemon MOBA. I was curious. I would hope to see a Switch Pro. We talked Zelda. We talked Breath of the Wild 2. I wouldn't be surprised to see like a Zelda 3D All-Star Collection.
I definitely want to see more Zelda games. I think we will see the GameCube and Wii era Zelda titles. We're going to see Wind Waker HD, Twilight Princess, and Skyward Sword come to the Switch this year. I'd love it if it was in one pack, but I don't expect it to be, and I'll still buy them separately anyway. I do think Breath of the Wild 2 drops this year. I think Nintendo is planning a Switch Pro. I'm puzzled on how they plan to deliver, what kind of specs they're looking at. But it's like there's more rumors about it. Like every other week, I'm seeing someone talk about the rumored Switch Pro, developers talking about it, artists talking about it. It's got to be real at this point. It's just absurd to think that it wouldn't be.
Definitely.
Your shiny Snorlax has a tree growing out of his belly.
Yo, he's dope, and it's a golden tree because he's shiny. Yo, watch how. Yo, this dude was frustrated because he probably thought he was gonna murder my Snorlax so many times. I love using Snorlax in battles, dude. You're gonna see he has this crazy. Huh?
Didn't you just say you're fighting a kid here?
Yeah. But I just made him more frustrated. So watch this. See how I found a figgy berry? I eat it. Aww.
You're a jerk.
When you thought you...
The one thing with the Switch Pro I gotta say, though, I'm no longer confident that it's coming out in 2021. I want it to,
Me
and
too.
I had thought it was going to come out and come out early. If it's coming out in 2021, I'm starting to think more and more that it'll be a second half of the year thing. But it might be something that's dropping in 2022. So, we'll see. Yeah, for me, big Zelda year. Uh, they'll ride the success of Smash for a while, I'm sure. You get some more characters in that. It's doing better than any fighting game ever, so you have to, just enjoy that. You got to turn notifications off on your footage, man.
I did it.
Pops
I
up
did
with one of
that
your
already.
friends.
This is a little early. This is a little,
Gotcha.
yeah. I did it the other day,
All
though.
right, you got
I
any other
realized.
expectations from Nintendo this year, or you want to move on to Sony?
Well, actually, not so much expectations, but I want to hear who would your dream three be for the remaining Smash Bros. DLC roster spots?
I don't play Smash enough to have a Dream 3, man. That's on you.
That's
It's,
on me.
I don't even know the existing roster that well. So, I mean, personally, I'd like Sora. You know that? I've said
Yep.
that. I don't know how many times I've said that. At this point, I think it would be really cool if you were giving me, three. I'd want Sora. Um, I would also want, and I don't know who, but I would want someone from PlayStation's, steeple of characters, and someone from Xbox's. Like, I know some people joked about Master Chief, maybe Master Chief, but kind of a callback to the old school Nintendo days. I think a Battletoad would be really cool. And for PlayStation, even though he's elsewhere now, I still think that he's synonymous with PlayStation. I'd say Crash.
Yeah.
So if you need three, those are the three I'm giving you. But you play the game regularly, so why don't you give me your three?
Well, Crash is definitely one of them.
All right.
I would like to see the guy Toxtricity that I just had up on the screen with the electric mohawk.
Okay.
I feel like we got to see a new Pokemon for Pokemon Sword and Shield. It would be crazy not to, but maybe it doesn't happen. But I would like to see Toxtricity if they do add a Pokemon character. And then, you know what, dude? I'd love to see my guy Daruk at the end of the day in Smash.
All
I
right.
feel like
So I
there's
don't know
no.
which of us has lower chance of our desires happening, but
I feel like they got to add another. It's the 35th of Zelda. You got Breath of the Wild 2 coming out, and then on top of that, you have Zelda, you have Link, Sheik, and Ganon. Like, you don't have any really like outside characters.
give me Tinkle.
Give me Tinkle confirmed.
Uh,
Monster Hunter Rise demo coming out this month. I'm really excited to try it. That's obviously a high expectation game. We talked about a couple expectations. I think Nintendo's gonna have a really good bounce back year this year. I mean, not
I
that they
don't
had a bad
understand.
year
Well,
last
you
year.
can't have a bounce back year without having a bad year.
True, but I think it's gonna be well, I'm talking more like with the Nintendo Directs.
I think Nintendo's going to have a good first half of the year. And as the Series SX and PS5 become more available over April, May, and June, it's definitely going to, kind of shift to where Nintendo is on the back burner until they announce that Switch Pro.
You can go back to Tetris, by the way, if you want. We're looping around.
Oh, did you loop around?
We looped around.
Can invite me to a gym team, so now I can't play. It won't let me join that. Because
Uh-oh. Did I loop around too?
Did you loop around?
I may have looped around. All right, give me more Nintendo.
Uh, I think that's really it. Aside from the anniversaries and Pokemon and Zelda are my two most anticipated series to see this year, 100%.
This what you're seeing on the screen right now is the other multiplayer mode, and it's three players against a computer-controlled boss. And every once in a while, this thing happens where all three of your Tetris cues like merge together, and you try to combine for monstrous combos on the boss.
Oh,
But
that's
it depends on who you're playing with. Like I was playing with two randoms. We weren't communicating. We weren't in a party or nothing. I think I was talking to Sean maybe. And in a game like this, you kind of do want that communication because you see a couple times here where we like kind of fight for a spot to put our stuff.
right.
And if someone's struggling, like they can make it so it's really hard for you to put together a combo that will do anything meaningful. But it's pretty fun. Tetris is awesome, man. Tetris is for
Always.
everyone. I have some Tetris footage from you, I think, don't I?
Yeah, you know what? You want to pull that up real quick?
Yeah, I'll show that. I'll show.
Because I was on the brink of extinction in that clip.
I mean, I'm pretty certain you lose anyway. Spoiler.
I do lose. I've never won a game of Tetris 99. I've gotten close.
There we go.
There we are. Look at here, you can
Just
see.
right away, look at how much better it looked on the Xbox. You know, not the graphics are very important in this, but it's clear that that was like their focus in Tetris Connected to make it look. And you guys can't hear the sound, but it really sounds good too. The soundtrack in it is awesome.
Well, we got a revised Pokemon theme for this because the Pokemon theme for Sword and Shield, but also plays Pokemon music revised by Tetris in the background. Tetris always does a great job, just any game they do, honestly. It doesn't...
Look at you losing.
I like... Yeah, and that's what we got, me losing. If you want to pull up some winning footage of Crash Team Racing, you can always pull up the Switch if you wanted to.
Oh, you want to talk?
Oh, I want to talk.
Oh, I think I made that too big.
Oh, don't worry about the resize time because for some reason I decided to, do 30 seconds of wait time. So this is more entertaining. Some quick editing. Kabang.
My bad, people messed that one up.
Nah, that's all right. We're still at the same screen. Nothing changed.
Yeah, it definitely loads faster on my Xbox. I'll tell you that. It still looks solid. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm playing on the Xbox, and it doesn't at all take advantage of the Series X. Like, it's not updated. It's just the One X version, which does run at like I think 4 times the resolution of the Switch version. But the Switch version still looks solid. It's blurry, especially like on right now it looks solid because it's a little smaller. When you bring it up on your TV, you'll notice that it's blurrier. But gameplay-wise, I'd say it looks like the same game. Like, I don't think I see any compromises in frame rate and performance, so that's pretty cool.
Yo,
And you managed to not throw your Switch, so hey, you're doing better than me. Not that I threw mine, but I wanted to throw my freaking controller.
I mean, that looks good right there, too, even, but,
Yeah, well, cutscenes always look good. We don't compare cutscenes. Stop that.
I don't know how I'm forgetting one big thing with Nintendo, but we do got to leave off on this. I can't leave this hanging in the dust. No way. I'm not a real Nintendo fan if I don't touch this right now. So we're going to touch this right now.
So I mute you right now, and then you're not a real Nintendo fan.
No, exactly. All right, listen. Nintendo needs to do more with their interface, their online. Listen, I respect the fact that they're taking steps. I'm not going to point out and say they haven't done nothing, okay? I just got to play Crash Team Racing for a week for free, and it's on sale for half off. And it's a fun game.
You wouldn't be a real Nintendo fan if you didn't just harp on the thing that we've all been harping on for 4 years and more if you want to count the systems before this. I mean, come on, man. Well, stop beating that dead horse. Nintendo's not listening to you. The system sold 75 million units without them doing what you're asking for.
I agree.
If you want all that extra stuff, all that, trials and free play days and better party chat and good online services, come over to the green team, bro. It's time.
But hold on. No. But hold on. I don't even need party chat. How come you gave me a section to invite my friends? What is going on with that? What has happened? Nobody's talking about this either. Like, why did you add this invite feature on my friends list menu and I can't do anything with it? Nothing.
I gotta tell you, the fact that nobody's talking about it tells me that nobody cares, because anyone that wants to play with their friends is playing on a real game system.
Oh my god. All I'm saying is if I could just go into my friends list and invite somebody to Smash, it would be really convenient.
Let me stop.
I
I like the Switch, man. I just like to troll you, and it's funny because I don't troll most of my other friends when it comes to games, but it's just you and the Switch. I'm like, oh, let's mess with them.
Nah, I get it, but yo, I
mean, I can pretty much destroy your your Switch arguments anytime I want just by pointing out that when I put one in your hands, you had no clue what it was.
Yeah, I know.
Like, the hell is this? I said the new Nintendo.
I'm embarrassed.
I turned you into an addict then. I'm a bad person.
Did. You are a bad person.
I'm a bad
You only have
person.
yourself to blame.
Right.
But and another thing is like I want to see themes, man. You have so many iconic characters on this console, and you mean to tell me I can choose between Theme Black and Theme White?
Yeah, I
What?
mean, they kept their OS really minimal. Like, I'd like themes too, but they specifically built an OS that doesn't require a lot of their specs to run, so it might be too much of a challenge to even bother putting themes in at this point. Like,
The 3DS did it.
yeah, the 3DS did it on a much lower resolution screen, and it wasn't running as demanding games, so it didn't need those specs. This actually, I'm watching your footage right now, and this looks solid. I'd still rather
Yeah,
play on my Xbox, especially with
no,
the
but
whole
yeah.
getting angry thing. Because if I throw the Switch, I'm gonna be really mad. At least the controller, I just gotta go buy another one. A Switch, I'm $300 out. That would make me upset.
But they've improved on it. They added Super Nintendo games, which obviously are a lot more upholding than Nintendo Entertainment games. Let's face the truth. Not that Nintendo games are bad, just obviously Super Nintendo games hold their value more, in my opinion, for right now. But uh, even if we see Game Boy games or something, they gotta continue to add consoles to
You want
that,
more? You want more content? You want them to give you more for what you have? I got you. I don't
and not a
blame you.
lot, not a lot.
But if you
And
really
I'm
want
not
an
saying.
awesome deal in gaming, here's an idea: Xbox Game Pass.
Well, you know what? We'll talk a little bit more about that and some things that I'm anticipating. But you know what? That's it for Nintendo for me right now. We'll see as the year goes. I hope to see a Nintendo Direct in the next month or two.
All right.
Uh,
Well, hey, Happy New Year, guys! Because an entire year passed while the Green Screen was talking about Nintendo.
yeah.
It's
Happy New Year.
2022, fellas. No, I kid, I kid. I should stop being a jerk. Did your footage just
Yeah,
wrap
just
around again? Let me just gonna go back to Tetris.
yeah.
All right. So PlayStation expectations. I know that you're not really a big PlayStation guy. First and
Ratchet and
foremost,
Clank.
yeah, Ratchet and Clank. It's coming soon. They said early on that Insomniac had Spider-Man coming pretty much right away, and that I think Ratchet was like a launch window game they called it, which I think they defined as like the first 3 to 6 months of the console's life cycle. I can't wait to see it. Truth is, Ratchet's always been one of the funner games. That studio and Insomniac, they always make great games. Back to our childhood.
Yeah.
Ratchet has always been one of my favorites. The Ratchet for PS4 was just amazing. I mean, everything about it. It was very self-aware. Like, it was like the game that's a remake of the movie that's a remake of the game. Like, yeah, it cracked me up all the time. But they're top-notch visuals. They have some of the best temporal anti-aliasing anyone out there. What they did with Miles Morales and Spider-Man Remastered, like, they released a launch game in the middle of a pandemic that supported full ray traced reflections. Some people out there are reporting that there's more ray tracing than that. There is not. It's ray traced reflections. Pay attention to Digital Foundry. Stop trying to be what you're not. Digital Foundry does all that stuff, and you don't need to form your own opinion. That's wrong. Just let the professionals tell you. It looks great, and they had two modes. It was either ray tracing at 30 frames per second, which the original game ran at 30 anyway, or screen space reflections at 60 frames per second, which still looked great, just not as good as ray tracing. But then, I don't know, maybe a month after it came out on the system's launch, they released like a slightly lesser ray traced version that runs at 60 frames per second. So I can't wait to see what they're gonna pull off with Ratchet, because that studio is just incredible. They can do things that no one else can. They're putting themselves up there with like the Naughty Dogs and Coalitions of the world. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the game. That's got me hyped. I'm definitely looking forward to Gran Turismo.
Yes. Gran Turismo. I was a big fan of Gran Turismo 4 back in the day. I remember playing that a lot.
Yeah, Gran Turismo is another game that's always pushed visuals. It'll always look amazing. It does seem to take forever for them to come out, but it's normally worth the wait. I can't wait. It's also got ray tracing. And you know me, I've admitted it before, I'm a graphics whore, so if you want to give me something that looks amazing and damn near photoreal, I'm going to enjoy it at least a little bit more than I would if it didn't look that damn good.
Bro, do you think we see more God of War this year?
Yeah, God of War's coming out this year. That was my next thing. God of War Ragnarok will be the big Christmas title. I think Horizon is a little sooner than that. You know, it was shown a little bit more in depth already. You know, not in depth, but more in depth than God of War was. So both are targeted for 2021. Hopefully, the pandemic didn't affect that. I'd say Horizon in the first 8 months of the year, and God of War rings in right around November. And I'll be playing the hell out of that. I promise you, that's one of those games that I'm going to beat as long as it comes out.
Yeah,
Also,
no,
I
absolutely.
expect to see a PS5 port of The Last of Us 2 this year. They did it with The Last of Us 1. I think that the game is amazing, but technologically it did push even the PS4 Pro to some limits that, you know, many games didn't. So I think we do see a PS5 release for it this year. Probably some form of ray tracing, definitely a 60 frames per second mode, some, you know, increased fidelity and character models and whatnot. It's the game is phenomenal. Some people want to hate on it, and I mean, to each their own. I thought it was great, and I will play through it again and beat it again when it comes out on PS5, which I personally believe is inevitable.
Do we know anything about a new Uncharted or no?
No, last thing we heard on Uncharted is Naughty Dog's not doing them. So
Oh, wow. Okay, gotcha.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see some more Uncharted anyway. You know, the spin-off there with Chloe in it. Uncharted The Lost Legacy did really good. It was really well received, so I do think we'll see more. I just think Naughty Dog probably hands development off to someone else because they want to focus on other projects. And of course, we have the Uncharted movie coming this year, so they're going to want to ride that hype.
You know, one game I do want to throw in there while we're on PlayStation. I mean, it's not a PlayStation exclusive game, but I do want to throw it out there. Is Back for Blood is going to be a great game, man, for both the PlayStation and Xbox. I can't wait.
And PC. Don't
Yeah,
forget. Yeah,
I know.
you know,
My
I mean,
bad.
Left 4 Dead, one of my favorite games of the 360 generation, and you know, Left 4 Dead 2, I should specify. Not that one was bad, but 2 really hooked me,
Yeah,
and I'm really excited to see them essentially doing Left 4 Dead 3. Granted, you know, because of licensing and whatnot, they have to call it something else, but that's the same studio doing a game of the same kind. That's Left 4 Dead 3. That's the best way to call it. The alpha footage they showed looked really cool. I can't wait to see what they come up with. I trust that studio implicitly with those style of games. So yeah, whatever platform you play on, if you have access to that game and you're a zombie fan, you should probably be excited for this year.
no, absolutely.
What else? I mean, I think we'll see a lot of PS5 and, for that matter, Xbox Series S and X, like next gen upgrades. You know, some of them were supposed to come out already, and then they missed their targets. Like the Avengers, which I hope, you know, from what I'm reading, is going to get kind of uh, like a No Man's Sky style relaunch, trying to
Right.
make it a little bit more popular and successful because it didn't really do that well. I played it. It it's fun. You play with your friends, it's fun, but it is lacking in the content department. So hopefully they can fix that, especially with the next gen upgrade. Looking forward to it. Pretty
Damn, bro, you
much.
had a decent amount of online footage here.
Yeah, I forgot that I went into this. I think this ends soon though. Like we're fighting one of the bosses. Uh
You always got that nice Mario Odyssey Christmas footage, if anything, I guess,
yeah.
right?
Nah, well, I mean we're coming up on the end anyway, so
Yeah.
that's really all I got for Sony. I know that you're not too big of a Sony guy, so do you have anything to add or just the stuff that you already hit me with?
No, that's pretty much it for me.
All right, so I
Hopefully
guess
do more VR things.
we're on to Xbox, of course.
Yes,
My
sir.
area of preference, I guess we would say. Halo Infinite. I think Halo Infinite's gonna do great. They very recently showed a little sneak peek of what they've been doing to relaunch or to rebuild the graphics since people came out and said, "Hey, it doesn't look as good as we thought it would," and I'm one of those people. What they showed looks as good as I thought it would. So that game's coming out this year. I see a lot of people saying like halfway through the year, May. I think no. I think that's gonna be like a end of the year, November big whatever holiday game. I remember Halo 2
Really?
came out November, I think 9th, sold like crazy. I know a lot of Halos have hit in September, so maybe that early. But I'm thinking it's going to be their big holiday title unless they've got something secret up their sleeve. I just feel like most of what they showed at E3 was a lot of CG stuff that typically, if you're showing games with CG and no gameplay, they're more than a year away. So I have to assume the stuff like State of Decay 3 and Fable and whatnot aren't coming this year. I was talking to you earlier, there's Sea of Thieves is kind of, I don't want to say relaunching because the game is actually still really successful, but there is like a seasonal pass with monthly content coming with like a new, they just did like this Fate of the Damned event in October with like new challenges and stuff you can unlock, and now they're bringing in like a new bad guy that you're going to be after. They've got big plans for it. There's a lot of people that are bigger Sea of Thieves fans out there that could explain it a little bit better than me. If any of our listeners want me to look more into it and give a real rundown, I absolutely will. But just know that I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. I think the game's already successful. That's like there's no arguing that, and they're pushing to make it more successful. So that's always good for us as gamers when developers want their games to do better. When they're pushing to make it do better instead of just hoping that they can market it into doing better.
No, I completely agree with you. I had a great time on Sea of Thieves. Boy, there was nothing like drinking and talking like pirates at 2 a.m.
Just make sure you don't do that on the podcast, okay? Maybe we'll capture some footage of you doing that and we'll throw it on here so people can laugh at you. But don't drink and do the podcast, please.
Oh God, no, God, no.
But
That's
yeah,
my
I mean,
leisure.
I do feel like Sea
Listen,
of Thieves was like mostly it's a video game. It's absolutely a video game, but it's also like a social experience. It's just a way to relax with your friends and come down off of, games of intense Call of Duty and Fortnite and what PUBG, whatever the popular battle royales are. I know a lot of people that had a lot of fun with it. Matt. Matt's a big Sea of Thieves fan. Him and his brother play all the time. I didn't get too into it when it first came out because most of my friends weren't playing. I've been trying to convince you to come back to the world of Xbox, so I have someone that's into it and will actually play with me. But when I did play it, I thought it was very enjoyable. It's got that rare sense of humor, and clearly the rare art style. And
yeah,
I'm excited to see that they're continuing to support it. They're not just gonna be like, all right, we're done. No sequel. Let's continue to build on the game that exists. That's awesome.
yeah. Actually, dude, I want to run an idea out there, and maybe not even for immediately, but I want to give a huge shout out to my buddy Brandon. He's a good time, lifetime best friend. Good time, lifetime, yeah.
Yeah.
A lifetime best friend. I've known him, since day one, and he came up with an idea one day. Huge Sea of Thieves supporter. He got the Xbox Sea of Thieves controller. Still has that to this day. Yeah, that is the best looking Xbox controller I've seen. Glow in the dark, the purple, the green, the sea green. That is an awesome controller. But one day we were sitting there talking video games, and I want to give him full credit for this idea and not steal this idea, but I also feel like this should be talked about publicly. Is in the future, Sea of Thieves comes out with a sequel, and they call it Land of Knights, and it's kind of that similar art style, but in that similar combat style, but you're more on land. You're walking around. You do objectives. You could still have a ship and sail and everything, but there's more ground game, more depth, more quest, and I think it would just be great. I think it was a great idea, and I would hope to see that maybe someday a sequel to Sea of Thieves.
I mean, that sounds a little bit more like a spin-off to me. But yeah, I mean, anything that advances any genres forward, anything that people think would be enjoyable, I hope someone explores it, sees what's up. Other than that, I expect the Xbox to sell better than the Xbox One did in its first full year. It's not going to outsell the PlayStation. We're not going to discuss that. I don't expect that. I don't even care, honestly. I don't think Microsoft cares. Like, as long as it's selling and they're making money, they're happy. People talk about console wars, like, if you don't sell the most, you lose. Like, Microsoft did not sell the most this gen, and they still made a lot of money. They don't care. Just play what you want to play. Game and let game. That's what I always say. Don't care what other plastic boxes people play on. But
Right.
I think they're gonna do better this time solely because of the Series S. I told you recently I bought a Series S for the kids. I've checked it out with them. That thing is way more impressive than I might have thought early on.
Well, I remember when we early on talked about, who was gonna have success, PS5 and Xbox, and we talked about why we thought both was gonna have success. And I really thought the Xbox was gonna have success off of the Series S at a $300 price point for the hardware you're getting is just a bargain for your buck, in
It
my opinion.
really is. I'm out there. I got I replaced my TV, so they got the OLED that I used to have, and they're out there with the Series S. They're running it like it runs at 1080p, but the system does a fairly decent job between the system and the TV of upscaling to your 4K image. But like they're running Fortnite at 1080p, 120 frames per second. They're loading into Call of Duty games probably 8-10 times faster than they used to. Everything is just so snappy. It really is just as performant as the Series X, just at a lower resolution. I'm sitting here with a Series X next to me, and I prefer my Series X because of the 4K. I complain about the Switch's resolution, but that Series S at $300, you can't beat it. I mean, especially I bring up the Switch. Now, obviously, the Switch has the portability factor, but Microsoft's kind of hitting that too with xCloud being part of your Game Pass Ultimate subscription. And I can't wait to see the advancements they make on that this year. But when you really look at it, like the same price as the Switch gets you a system that's anywhere from 4 to maybe 12 times as good, across the board. Like graphics processor, 4.5, maybe 5 times better. CPU, so much better. I don't want to actually quantify it. RAM, absurdly better. Like the hardware is the best $300 hardware I've ever seen. I remember I was watching the Xbox 2 podcast. Again, I'll shout them out all the time. They're one of the ones that really inspired me to actually give this a shot. Rand Althor and Jez Corden. And Rand asked a question that a lot of people I felt answered, and I don't think they really got the question. So he asked, like, was the Series X the best hardware Microsoft had ever put out? And people were like, well, obviously it's the best hardware Microsoft ever put out. Yeah, of course it is. Uh, you've got new gaming hardware. The PS3 was better than the PS2. The PS4 better than the PS5. It just that's how it always goes, right? But
Yeah.
when it comes down to it, he wasn't asking like, "Oh, is this hardware better than the last gen hardware?" He's saying that at this price point, at $500 in 2020, do you feel like the Series X got you better respective hardware for your money than what the One X did in 2017, than what the One did in 2013, and each system yada yada before that? And where the answer to that question is still yes. When you look at the Series S, $300 getting you the kind of power that this system has is freaking absurd. And anyone out there going, "Oh, the Series S is going to hold back gaming," like that, no world in which is that going to happen. The Series S has a CPU that matches or beats the PS5. The GPU is lower, but it's not like it's the same technology. It has the ray tracing support. It has variable rate shading that the Series X does. It can do everything the Series X does. It just targets a lower resolution. When you look at it, it has a third of the power but runs at a quarter of the resolution in most instances. So it actually, in performance, sometimes with these Digital Foundry videos, it beats the Series X. Yeah, the Series X version looks a little better. In some cases, a lot better, But like I'm seeing games where the Series S actually runs a couple frames faster or loads a little bit faster because it doesn't have to load as high of quality textures. And as much as I am a guy that cares about 4K and all of that stuff, high resolution textures and whatnot, the success of the Switch and the fact that the best selling TVs in the world still aren't 4K says that most people out there are not me. Most people out there are willing to compromise visual quality. They're after the performance, and the Series S is the best performing $300 box I've ever seen. I don't think you could get anywhere near the Series S performance in a computer for $300. You might need to spend double that.
Right. And just to clarify to the people at home watching, this is your Crash Team Racing footage on the Xbox.
Yeah, well, you can tell it looks a little bit clearer. Also, I've noticed there's like a weird little glitch on the Series X that some people have talked about. Some of the footage comes out just a little bit darker. Like when I'm actually playing this, it's got a much brighter, more vibrant look to it. but man, I got wrecked in this race.
Blasted.
It
Nothing
kept
worse
hitting me
than what
nonstop.
happens.
I wanted to just rip a computer player out of the system and beat him up.
Yeah, you
But
messaged me and said, "Bro, no crash footage." I was like,
yeah,
"Oh
I'm done. I'm
man."
not playing this. I rage quit like 45 times, but I didn't like actually quit. I just like put the controller down, went, grabbed a drink, and came back like, all right, I'll give it another go. But I can't tell you how
Yeah.
many times I was really like, screw this game. I'm never playing this again. Let me try another race.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna pay the 20 to get it on my Nintendo Switch for sure.
I don't blame you at all. You know, I'll tell you, I'm throwing a fit about it. I'm complaining, but it's a good game. It's just like Crash, man. It tests your patience.
Yeah, I definitely want to talk about my outlook for Microsoft a little bit because I think Microsoft is actually going to have a really, really positive year, and I think they're going to take some steps in gaming that are really going to be revolutionary. I think we're going to see Microsoft really set the tone for the gaming industry this year. I truly do. I think xCloud is really going to take over. I think you're going to see a lot of Microsoft things come out on a lot of other platforms. I think Microsoft is really going to expand their horizons and connections, and I think
Explain
it's going to be a
platforms.
great
What do you
thing.
mean? Like what platforms do you expect to see them releasing stuff on? Because I mean, XCloud is
Um,
obviously already on Android devices. We know for a fact that they're building a browser version that's going to bring it to pretty much anything that's browser enabled. Specifically, they're going after iOS and trying to get around Apple's antiquated
and
policies about sharing.
that's the big one. I do think they end up getting around somehow, but I also think they end up finding their way on the Switch maybe a little bit more. I mean, listen, we've seen Microsoft and Nintendo have their little affairs low key under the table.
Yeah, I would like to see that. I I thought we were gonna already, and something just delays it. Like I feel like the talk has been there. We've seen some stuff pop up with like web domains that hint at it, and then
Yeah,
like
but then
last
again,
second we're like, oh yo, it's
but
about to be announced, and then nope, it's not. I don't know why.
not only did you see Ori in the Will of the Wisp come to the Switch, you saw it get a whole box collector's edition exclusive to the
See,
Switch.
to me, Ori is the big one because like the first Ori,
I agree.
I don't know if there was, any type of existing contract already that said Ori was coming to the Switch. Because, a big thing that happened this year, we discussed before, Microsoft bought Bethesda. The sale hasn't gone through yet, but, they just updated the other day to say that it looks like it's going to go final very soon. Everything's being agreed upon and whatnot. And they still have to honor a couple contracts that exist. Like that Deathloop game that's PlayStation exclusive, or at least timed exclusive, that stays a PlayStation timed exclusive. Microsoft's not just, breaking that contract. So I didn't know, like maybe Ori had already been signed for the Switch and then they just had to release it. But the fact that Ori 2 came out 5 years later and still came to the Switch says like they're willing to release their products on Nintendo's platform. And Phil Spencer has said that he'll put Xbox Game Pass anywhere it makes sense. I think 75 million Switch users, that definitely makes sense to me. I'm not in their financial department, so I don't know if they feel like I'm incorrect, but to me, that's just a sensible decision. You
Right.
know, I did want to talk about Game Pass though because we know Microsoft is trying to push Game Pass. They want it the biggest thing in gaming, the biggest subscription service. They kind of want to be the Netflix of gaming, and I think they already are. But with things like Amazon Luna and Google Stadia,
Stadia,
trying to
yeah.
compete and whatnot, and people say that Tencent might be bringing in a competing service at some point. We know that EA stepped up and joined Microsoft with Game Pass Ultimate, so you get EA Access or the Vault games from EA Access on Game Pass Ultimate, and that's a pretty big deal. It made the game subscription service a lot more valuable. There's a crazy. I think I got like 70 games in the Game Pass Vault or EA Vault in my Game Pass now. I already had EA Access anyway, but it actually extended my account a little bit longer because they merged them. But there's a rumor running right now on PC. Ubisoft has their own EA Access kind of competing service, although it's more premium than the base EA Access. It more competes with Origin Premier, where I think it's $15 a month or $16 a month, and you get everything that Ubisoft releases when it releases, like the new
Yeah, I remember
Assassin's
you talking
Creed, the
about
new
this.
like when the Division 2 came out, Watch Dogs. So there's a rumor running And actually, the Xbox Two podcast guys, Randall Thor and Jez Corden put on his Twitter that he believes it to be true to some degree, and I'm gonna 100% agree with him. I think Ubisoft Plus is coming to Game Pass Ultimate at some point in the near future. I just don't think it'll be the full thing. You're not going to be getting Assassin's Creed, Watch Dogs, and all of that the day they come out. Ubisoft can't afford to lose all of that money that they would from sales. But I think they're probably going to put together an EA Access like Vault, where you get 30 or 40 of their games that have already been out for 6 or 8 months or more. And it's going to be merged right in.
I'd also really like to see the start of the progression between Bethesda and Xbox.
Well, hopefully we're going to see Starfield this year, so that'd be nice.
Agreed.
And that's probably another platform we're gonna get, like, a Skyrim Xbox Series Edition or something.
Yeah, you never know, right? Honestly,
I think every time someone from the Skyrim marketing team sees a piece of technology, they're like, "Yo, can it run Skyrim?"
yeah, but
And
honestly,
if it can, they're like, "It's gonna."
what if they really had a Skyrim optimized for the Series X in the work? Like, what if they came out with that? Would you dig that?
Yeah, I mean, Skyrim's one of the best games in its genre ever. In that first person RPG type. There's a reason it's been as successful as it is. There's a reason it's on every device that's known to man. It sells well. People like it. People love it. And I mean, that was a game that, like, at the time, like Grand Theft Auto 5, was super compromised to release on those systems from its real vision, but still was fun. Still looked good. Played decent. And then it got, like, the PS4 and Xbox One remastered special edition with, like, God rays and increased
Early on,
foliage
right?
and all that stuff.
Early
Yeah.
on.
And then I think a big one for that I think more people need to talk about is that it has full mod support for console. Better on Xbox than it is on PlayStation, because PlayStation's mod support isn't really on the same level by any means. But yeah, I think that we will get Skyrim even further upgraded for the Series X. I just don't know that it'll be like a full-on release. Microsoft's big on smart delivery, so I would think that it would likely be just an upgrade to the one that exists. The question is, would Microsoft flex their newly bought Bethesda muscles and make the upgrades exclusive, at least for a time, to the Series consoles, not allowing them to hit the PlayStation right away? That's a big question. I don't know if they would, but I hope that they would at least approach Sony and say, we're not going to release these upgrades unless you give full mod support like the other consoles have. Just because it bugs me that PlayStation gamers don't have the same mod support that Microsoft gamers do for that title, and Fallout for that matter.
Yeah. By the way, when you get the TNT on your head in Crash Team Racing...
Yeah, you can jump a bunch of times, it'll fall off. I didn't know that until after this footage.
I gotcha.
Yeah. Thank you, though.
You're welcome. I just try to be a good friend.
Oh.
Oh, dude, you're so close here, too. Oh!
Yeah.
Ah.
There's another one. I don't know if I caught it recorded, but, like, I was in first as I hit that finish line and someone passed me. 7/100ths of a second, bro. I almost threw the whole Xbox out the window.
Is this
so
the
mad.
same footage?
I don't know which one this is.
I don't know either. I wasn't really paying attention to the
I'm
footage.
pretty sure I did this one race like 10 times in a row.
Oh, gotcha.
I was not happy. But that's really it for my Xbox forecast, I guess, for 2021.
Yeah.
You wanted to talk about the giveaway you did, right? I remember you.
I did a giveaway.
So you did a giveaway on your Twitter.
I did.
I think it was what? It was a month of Game Pass Ultimate. The best deal in gaming. Even more so when it's free.
Yep, and I gave away a free code, just to kick off the new year. I thought we'd have a good way, to show it. And
that was the Twitter right here on the screen next to your little character, the green swing.
So first of all, I recorded a video, and I did a big no-no in that video. First of all, we're gonna get into that right now.
I do recall you included some music from Banjo. We're not allowed to use music we don't own. Let's not do that again.
Well, luckily we didn't do that. Me did that, but I
Yeah, I
still
mean,
should
it's an
not do that.
accident. It's not a big deal. We're not trying to profit off any of these videos. I'm sure Nintendo's not going to send their lawyer here to, sue you and take you for everything you got.
Yeah, I'll probably end up taking it down after a couple of
Or everything
giveaways
you don't
later.
got,
But
but
I did a horrible method of doing it. I held my phone. I tried to fold it up. Should have just put it on a surface. It's whatever. Anyway, basically I folded up everybody that retweeted and followed my page, and I folded up everybody's name. I written it all out, and I did it all on camera, and I drew somebody, and I kind
Well,
of
yeah, you did
messaged
it on
them
camera
immediately.
because you really wanted to show that it was legitimate. That we're not saying like, oh, we're gonna do a giveaway and then we're giving it to one of our buddies, but acting like we did a giveaway.
Yeah,
I did a couple,
uh,
couple weeks ago. I think right before I got COVID, with a PlayStation and an Xbox gift card, and the people that won them, I did it with screenshots. I had people take photo mode screenshots, and I picked the one I liked the most, and I gave them the card, and they both were kind enough to hop on and shout me out in a tweet. I think one commented and one actually put a full tweet out saying, "Hey, thanks for the code for confirmation. You guys out there listening, we're not, if we're gonna do a giveaway, we're not trying to scam you. We will do a giveaway. I'm not promising you that we're gonna give away $1
no,
billion. I'm not rich, but when we do one, it's gonna
right.
be a real giveaway." So as you were saying, you sent the guy a message right away.
Right, and here's the thing: is I kind of prematurely sent the code, and I maybe should have, and here's like where we're
See,
gonna
that's the
live and
one right
learn.
there. He just beat me by 7/100th of a second.
Oh
I
my
was
god,
in
this is
first place,
definitely
bro.
different footage. That sucks.
I wanted to fight. All right, back to what you were saying. You prematurely sent the code.
Yeah, I should have had a conversation because there's a lot of people that are bots or even ungrateful. I don't know if it was a bot or somebody who was just very ungrateful, but the way they wrote sentences were very off. Basically, I sent the code, and at 1:30 in the morning, they said, "Thank you very much. I appreciate it." And I asked them if they could give me a retweet saying that they got the code, redeemed it. And 5 hours go by, and at 6:30 in the morning, they send me the code has already been used. Why send me code? Uh, I already knew what was going on. You redeemed the code. You want an extra month of it. I get it. Whatever. Uh, so next time I'm definitely gonna message the winner and make sure we have a decent conversation prior to giving out the code because we're
Right, good
not
call.
gonna we're gonna make sure we give it to people that deserve it. I don't feel right giving it. There was a bunch of people that retweeted and liked it, and there was people that commented and gave their feedback.
We're gonna do our best to avoid giving it to bots, which means we won't post any codes either. They've got to be sent to you directly, because I know if I post one on Twitter, a bot's gonna get that before anyone else out there gets it.
Right. But yeah, speaking of the giveaways and everything like that, right? I told you we got something big coming. I did want to announce on Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern time, I'm going to be doing a $25 Xbox card giveaway.
Right? You had the one guy say that he would prefer Xbox giveaways on there, right? On
Yeah,
the
yeah.
comments.
I'm trying to find his Twitter actually, but yeah, he commented also on the fact that I put him on blast. Unfortunately, the guy who was being selfish on Twitter. Because I feel like that people need to be pointed out for that. It's just not cool to do. At typical underscore Adrian underscore or ad rain. Sorry, typical ad rain. I think is how you say it. But we definitely heard your request. You said you wanted Xbox, and I do want to announce probably over the weekend too. I'll be also doing a year of Nintendo Online, but that's going to be an announcement later in the week. Still bad.
Yeah, I'm just gonna throw something on. I think we're about to wrap it up anyway, but just so they have anyone that is watching, just so they have something to see instead of just staring at a black screen. Just throw on some of
Yeah,
my old Astro Bot footage. I gotta play some more of this game. I already beat it all, but it's so fun. I want to just play through some stages again. It's fun.
yeah, no,
But yeah, I
definitely.
mean, we're planning to do some pretty regular giveaways, especially now that the holidays are over. I've got an army of kids here, so I kind of had to handle them first. But now that that's all over, I'll probably start doing some fairly regular giveaways. And the Green Sween's obviously gonna do some too. And yeah, we just hope that you guys like, follow, retweet, the Twitters or YouTube that you see on the screen right now, and they'll obviously be in our tweets. And, comment on the kind of stuff that you're looking to see from our show, from other videos we might do. We are planning on doing some shorter, 10-minute, more focused videos on certain games soon. And definitely on what kind of stuff you would like us to give away. I think this is the video where I spelled out Eagle sucks.
Yeah,
There
hey,
you
little
go.
throwback.
Yeah, throwing it back.
Nice.
But
There it is. Too.
that's really all I got for the day, man. I mean, I think we had a good show. We actually ran way later than we normally do. Sorry if we bored anybody, but if you stuck around the whole time, thanks for listening.
Hour and 50 minutes we're at right now.
Yeah, it seems about that.
Well, we had to kick off the new year right. I mean, we had to, talk about. There's a lot to talk about when it's a new year. There's a lot of new things, and we're excited.
If you say new one more time, man, how many times are you
It's
gonna
an
say
old
that
year.
word? Yeah, okay.
I mean,
You got anything to say before we sign off, man?
it's been a hell of a pleasure talking to you for about 2 hours, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, we talked a little bit before this too, so it's been a while. Maybe I won't talk to you again for a week.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you.
All right, man. I will definitely talk to you soon. Everyone out there, Red Cloud Gamers signing off.
Green Sween out.